Welcome back to The Reasoning with Jeffrey Anderson Gunter, one of Jamaica's great creative sons. If you enjoyed part 1, I'm sure you're going to enjoy part 2. Stick and stay, and don't forget to like, share, and comment on the video. Also do us a favor of subscribing to the station and hitting that notification bell. Alright, let's get right to it.
Right, and all of that other thing happened.
Right.
Then left, right.
Mm.
I get a gloves, a one-hander glove, right, and I cut some hole in the top of them, and I start to feed the puppy them before me go school or morning time. Get up and feed them, and as soon as I come in, I feed them again. And plot my sister here and thing, get her to school. So I had to grow up fast.
Immediately, yes, of course.
And the good thing was that the tenants who saw and knew about all that was happening, they helped. Because they knew what was happening, and they sort of went like this. Thank God about it and so forth and so on. And that is the kind of childhood I have, my boss.
Boss, may I tell you.
Huh?
And with all of that, a lot of people could have gone a different way altogether, you know, with their life choices. I am more inclined to say that you had a certain, well, everybody has a certain road that we must travel in our life before our number is called. But And regardless of what happens, what you do in your life, that your path is going to be followed, period.
Right.
And I believe that it was destiny building itself in you as a person that no matter what, we're going to do what is right.
Right, exactly.
And I think that's the reason why you don't worry now. Why you don't make things stress you out now.
It's true. You
know?
Absolutely.
Because regardless of what it is, there's a reason behind it. There's a lesson behind everything.
Exactly. Great assessment. Yeah.
Your friend taught me a lesson when I was a little kid, right? And he was going through some things with JBC and the government and blah, blah, blah. And he was always upset. I mean, he was just upset because in the end time, they appear stress.
Yeah.
And I said, well, why don't you beat them up? You know? And he said, actually, there's no need for that because I'm learning. I said, well, they're not teaching you anything. You know much more than them, blah, 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 blah. And he said, let me tell you something, son. Learn from everybody.
Yes.
Learn from the good and learn from the bad.
Exactly.
I said, why would you want to learn from the bad? He said, they will be the best teachers of telling you what not to do.
Exactly.
You know? Exactly. And I took that, and I remember recently, I have an 8-year-old and a 10-year-old, and I recently said that to them. And even though in my teenage years, it clicked to me as to what he was saying, it makes sense.
Yeah.
But you see, when you pass it on,
yeah, man,
that is when real glory and life goal and everything, the glow of, happens.
Yeah.
And that's when you feel like there is the purpose.
Yeah,
and
man.
Listening to your story, I am easily able to see that you have come up on many of these moments where you say, right, that was for, you know?
Yes, exactly. Absolutely. And that's why there are the divine order again. That's why there is no negative in my being. There is perspective, but there is no negative. There is what works for you and what does not work for you. But there is no that never should happen because it didn't. No, because what we quote unquote call negative is our growth and strength. And that is what's gotten from it. So if you go down this road and you find there's a block and so forth, no, you beat up yourself. You know what I mean? You're not supposed to go down that road. Choose another road. Because we have the ability to make those choices. Make a different choice. You know what I mean? But learn from whatever obstacle you come upon. You know, don't ever leave without going, all right, why that happen? Answer the question. Why it did happen? You know, and as soon as you find out the answer to that, go along about your business the other way. Because it's the other way it was supposed to go. You know, but you had to reach and do this first because you was trying to control and things. You know what I mean?
When you look back, Jeff, and because I mean, you've been in the United States from, you said, 68, right? But it is quite obvious that Jamaica not come out of you, none at all. Right? So you were a teenager when you went to the United States. Was a teenager, right? And
yeah.
In your 20s?
Late 20s. I mean, late teens, early 20s.
Okay, all right. So what is it about Jamaica that has set that anchor to the point where even your language, you make sure you can't lose it?
I think it has to do with my roots and in ancestry and the culture that made me who I am today. We all went through the brought-upsy, and whether that was good or bad, in our estimation at the time, it's serving us now because we are in an age where the internet is where people are getting brought up the information. And that is like, no.
Yeah.
Passion out the window. They may know what passion mean. You know what I mean? So it is when you're talking about groundation, right? That was the groundation for me to grow from. And that is irreplaceable.
Yes, but Jeff, you were telling us before that you had a rough childhood. You didn't really have a childhood because you had to grow up immediately.
Right.
A lot of people would have left that thing there and left it behind and said, no, that was a horrible experience. I don't want to ever connect with that anymore. But you've chosen that this culture is something that you not only want to stay connected to, but you want to represent. I mean, even with Arnold's Caribbean pizza.
Right.
You don't leave it a lot. You don't leave it at all.
Right. The best way I think to describe that is I was given something that I'm so glad that I recognize the gift, right? I think I know my lot in this life is to serve. I know that because I was given the disposition where if I do for you, and it's not, I'm not necessarily saying it's good. I mean, you know, the result of it. But if I do for you, I don't need to hear thanks. But I later found out that that was selfish of me, because the same feeling I get from doing for you, you need to have a similar feeling in thanking me. So it is a give and take, right? But I appreciated that, and the richness of the combination of self and that culture, that combination, meeting a Miss Lou, meeting a Charles Hyatt, working with a Miss Lou, with a Charles Hyatt. I've been given so many opportunities to excel. I was also given the opportunity to recognize it, so I don't deny it. And it's been happening in divine order all my life. All my life. Being able to go down to Kendall Crash the day after.
Wow.
To look for my brother, because he was in the train. He was on the train. He took that Catholic school trip. And me and my mother, through bodies and strewn parts and things, looking and looking, and we look up and we see him helping to carry bodies to a pile. And the explanation was, I was in the last car. And that is the car that didn't turn over. So he lived. He's still alive today in England. You know, that moment and the gratitude and blessing that I felt innately from that moment alone, I think propelled me into a state of constant blessing and recognizing constant blessing. And so in my passage coming up to this point, I never miss a blessing. In recognizing a blessing, I never miss it. Never miss it. So much so that I can take advantage of all of them and know that if I go tomorrow, if Messiah call me tomorrow, I have no regrets, because I did everything that I wanted to do and helped who I wanted to help, and you know, all of that.
So, all right, boy, that's so powerful. We could sit down here for about 2-3 hours and talk about that sentiment alone of being able to recognize and represent your blessings. But I want something from you with this interview, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And we're gonna talk about Arnold's Caribbean pizza in a minute. But I more want you to tell me, what message would you want to be given to give to the youngsters that are saying that art isn't respected in Jamaica and that there's nowhere to grow in Jamaica and such and such and so? What message are you thinking they should hear?
Firstly, if you have identified that creating and the arts is where you're supposed to be, not want to be. A lot of people want to be in it because they feel they want to become star and all of that. That is not the reason to be in it. You have to feel like you will die doing this thing. You want to, if somebody come to you and say, you know, you come do this engineering job, or jump off the cliff, go jump off the cliff. Because you are in your soul's truth, it's saying, I have to create or I hurt. That is the thing that, because I tell all my students this, you know, who come to me and they want to pay all this money and so forth. I may look on the money and I say to them, is this what you want to die doing? And if them say, what do you mean by that? And I say, no, thank you. Because you're not invested in what your soul's truth is telling you. Because your soul's truth is your passion. And everybody in this life has a passion. Identifying it is something else. Because people throw things at you. Listen, my mother and father thought that I would be the biggest doctor. Why? Because I used to get a pad and get pencil and I would draw, and the thing that I used to love to draw is the is muscles or skeletons or, you know, on horses or man or woman or, you know, and I used to draw, and I used to be very good at it. And then would look at it and they got the message, oh, he's definitely going to become a doctor. They didn't get the message, look how well he draws. That is the creative side that was being dictated then, not what I drew, the fact that I was able to draw.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that to me is passion. That to me is passion. I have problems with it because I go on stage, I perform, and I elicit what I need to get from the audience, and it gives me joy. But you have to have the passion to pursue this business or pursue anything in the art, because every day you get up, you have to create, or you have wasted a day. Listen, Michael Jackson used to walk with a pad and pencil and sometimes toilet paper or napkin, because his mind would run so. And every time that something come up, he must write it down, because he will forget it, because something else will come in its place and he won't remember the thing that he needed to do. You know, so he'd be all kind of scratch paper. I bet you they're going to find all them scratch paper and be putting it down on
the internet for auction.
Yes. Because that's what he used to do. That's what he used to do. You know, so he had passion. Bob had passion. You know, and you have, it has to be innate, and then you have to learn how to bring it out. You know, somebody like Chronix, I know has passion, and he goes naturally into what he does, because I don't think anybody trained him really into what is happening with him. I just hope him don't go to some people and then mess it up. Because once you get to that point, it's like the natural just gone to rot, because you're trying to put a form to it, and it's like, no, just let the boy do him, I don't know. You know, so get somebody in trust for angling money, but make him do him, I do. You know what I mean?
We pray for people like Chronix and Coffee. We pray for people like Chronix and Coffee and them people that they'll get the guidance and be able to be free in their thing.
Yes. But Jamaica is full of talent, man. And in answer to your question, I would let them know, don't aspire to go to America or to England or anywhere else to observe and satisfy your art. It is all there where you are, because you make that satisfaction. And you have people like Basil Dawkins down there. I mean, there are people down there that will, you know, have vehicles for them to get into, to practice their art. You know, if you get away and you get to the United States and so forth, fine. But know that you're coming into a cauldron of thousands of people that want the same thing. So go ahead and make your name down in Jamaica. Go ahead and do what you have just to satisfy your soul's truth, because that's what matters. You know, that you satisfy that, because if you don't satisfy that, you're miserable narrative. You go get somebody corporate job, and every time they come in your face, you want to cuss them out or stab them. You know?
Let's talk about your newest project now. Arnold's Caribbean Pizza.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
So you own a pizza shop.
Yeah.
Is that right? How did that come about?
Boss, it was not of my doing. This is where my work spoke for itself. Somebody had an idea, the whole concept, and they say, the person I want for this is Jeffrey Anderson Gunter. And then they came to me and they showed me the stuff, and I said, sure.
Wow.
Sure. You know, I mean, what a pleasure that is, you know, to have your work speak for itself. You don't have to audition for nothing. You know, somebody has tapped you as the right thing for their project, something that they came up with, their creativity and support. That is such a pleasure. It is such a pleasure. And then to go in, I mean, the writer came to me and said to me, you know, when I wrote that line, that's exactly how I heard it, you know.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
Wow.
And it's like, whoa, you know? It's so that's how that happened. I mean, and it's going, I think they're starting back in January to do the other episodes because they owe about 9 more episodes to the various places.
But Jeff, this has been amazing. And you know, whereas I wanted to do an interview with you, this is much better. This is much better. This is what I live for, to get the raw feeling and the raw truth out of the people that I interact with.
Yeah.
And that is why the series that I do is called Mobile Reasoning.
Yeah.
We're on the move. We are connecting through internet, whatever the case is, but we're reasoning more than giving a interview where you must come up with the right answers and I must ask you about all your projects. And
Right.
you understand what I mean?
Yeah.
I want people to get something from this. And
Yeah.
you have put so much nuggets in this thing. Jano, I not even know how I'm gonna edit it. I might just make it run.
You make me feel old, but it's all right.
You know anyhow you feel that way looking at the mirror and look on all the black hair and don't say nothing else for the rest of the day.
No, it's not. No, I don't mean it that way. I mean, realizing that you are Charles's son that I'm having a reasoning with. It's like, damn.
Yeah.
I mean, Charles, when we used to go Lannemans with and share sweetie with.
You see it?
You know what I mean? So it's like that realization. But hey, there again, the blessing is I am here to do it.